One of the biggest things that people mistake is, so this would be too much above the contact. Like this would be considered where your horse is above the bit. And the problem with this frame is that, you see, I've lost the impulsion. Like he's now barely trotting. I'm like, come on, keep trotting. Hello? I'm gonna talk about what frame you should ride your horse in. And this is like a tricky discussion because it a little bit depends on your horse. It depends on your horse's conformation. It depends on what you're trying to achieve with your horse. But bottom line is that you always want to be in control of your horse's frame. You should be able to make their head a little lower and make them a little rounder. You should be able to bring the frame up. You should be able to lengthen the frame, or you should be able to shorten the frame. When we think about a show frame is the pull up the highest point and the nose just slightly in front of the vertical. So that's the frame that you want to have in the show ring. But it's really important that you can adjust that frame, that you can stretch your horse, that you can move your horse's neck around. So this is Mercurio today, and I'm going to go through with him some of the different frames that I ride him in, and also talk to you about some of the evasions that he does, because he likes to curl and he likes to come a little bit above the contact. So first off, we're just going to start off in like a regular kind of, this would be a show frame. So in a show frame, the pull is the highest point. The nose is on the vertical or slightly in front of the vertical. And what that means is that if you were to draw a line, basically like from his pull to his nose, that you want that line to be perpendicular to the ground. So that's what we mean by on the vertical. Basically that the face is vertical. The face is going up and down. So,
oops, there's been a glitch. Actually, I need a big favor. Please, over 58% of you are not subscribed to my channel. So click the button below that says subscribe, as well as hit the bell. It really helps me out. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Thanks, you guys.
So I'm just going to start out with finding that show frame. Kind of the way that I know he's in this frame is I can see his bridle up between his ears. I have a nice, soft, steady contact. I see an arc to his neck. So like from his pull to his withers, there's a nice arc. So this would be what I would say would be a good show frame. One of the biggest things that people mistake is, so this would be too much above the contact. Like this would be considered where your horse is above the bit. And the problem with this frame is that, you see, I've lost the impulsion. Like he's now barely trotting. I'm like, come on, keep trotting, because he's not using his back anymore. So this is above the bit. And then this is what Mercurio sometimes like to do, which is what we call behind the bit or behind the vertical. So like his nose is basically down on his chest too much, and he also is broken at the fifth vertebrae, where the middle part of his neck is the highest point instead of his pull. So this is the frame that for the most part I want to ride Mercurio in, with his pull the highest point, his nose in front of the vertical. Now that said, I want to feel like it's adjustable here. So I want to feel like if my hands go a little forward, I want to feel that his neck gets a little longer and a little lower. I want to feel that I can bend him a little bit to the inside, like so. I want to feel like I can counter bend him a little bit and flex him to the outside. So you really want to think about being able to adjust your horse's frame. Boy. And then, while most of your time is spent in the show frame, it's also really important that you can get your horse to stretch down. So in the stretching frame, you want your horse to seek the contact forward and down. You want their whole neck and head to go below the withers. Boy, a boy. And with him, I'm always thinking about pushing my hands a little forward to let his nose out. But the stretch is a really important test of your contact and connection. And it's also a really good way to get your horse a little bit stronger in their back and in their top line. And then I'm going to take the frame up again, up to the highest point. And then a really good test of your frame is transitions. And a lot of times during transitions, your horse will either come too much up in the contact or they'll want to curl. So really focus on being able to maintain the frame through your transitions. Boy, good boy, a boy. So let me know in the comments if your horse tends to want to carry their head too high, or if your horse tends to want to carry their head too low and go on the forehand. And this is usually caused by conformation. So horses that have a neck that really comes nicely up out of their shoulders, like Mercurio, he has kind of a high set neck. These horses tend to carry their head too high. Other horses that are built a little more downhill, or that their neck comes out lower from their shoulders, tend to want to go down with their head. So if you have a horse that wants to be too high in their head, you always want to work on making them a little lower and rounder in the frame. The way that you do that is, so if my horse is too high in the frame, I'll take my hands just a little wide. I'll push my horse from inside leg to outside rein. I'll supple a little on the inside rein until he drops his neck lower, and then I'll allow his neck a little bit out. So let me show you that. If I'm going around and my horse's head is too high, if my horse's head is too high and they're inverted, I'll take my hands a little wide, steady on the outside rein, and then when he drops his neck down, I'll follow my hands a little forward to that lower neck. So that's how you get your horse's head to go down. Now, if you have a horse that tends to carry their head too low, like if they're always putting their head down and trying to pull you down, think about sitting back with your upper body. Make sure that you don't follow that head down. And then sometimes what I'll do if they go too down is I'll keep my outside hand low and I'll lift a little up on the inside rein. And transitions and leg yields will help you with that, because transitions and leg yields will help to engage the hind leg, which will lift up the shoulders and the withers and the pull. So frame is definitely a tricky thing with horses, and it's always like you want to do the opposite of what they want to do. If they want to be up, you want to make them rounder. If they want to be too low in front, you got to bring them up. So I hope this has given you some tips and some ideas on how to help you with your frame. And I really hope you'll join me in the 30 Days to Round Challenge, where I break it down step by step for you and show you some groundwork exercises that you can do to teach your horse to accept the contact before you even get on. In my brand new 30 Days to Round Challenge, you are going to learn exactly how to get your horse supple through and correctly engaging their hind end and top line. I remember when I first started out riding and I just could not get my horse round. I was really frustrated, so was my horse. In my gut, I knew that I was doing something seriously wrong, but I just didn't know what to do to teach my horse to accept the bit. In 30 Days to Round, I'm going to teach you exactly that. Over 30 step-by-step exercises where I show you exactly what you need to do to teach your horse to get round. Not only that, but I let you in on a little secret of mine where I show you specific groundwork exercises so that you can teach your horse how to accept the contact and get round before you even get in the saddle. With our private Facebook group, we're going to be supporting you with live Q&A sessions and offering other fun activities to help keep you motivated and give you all of the support and hand-holding that you need to achieve your goal of getting your horse supple, round, soft, and using their top line. But this challenge includes a $10,000 prize fund. That's right, you could win just for teaching your horse to get round and accept the contact. Click the link below and join today. I really look forward to working with you and helping you along in your training journey.